Good morning, New Zealand. Welcome to another episode of Turn the Page. I'm Mark Pacey from the Wairarapa Archive. Today we're taking you through three more old history stories that I've been involved with. Hopefully you've all been aware that daylight saving has started. It's a whole lot earlier now than it was the other day. I had a hard time waking up this morning, but I made it here on time, so everything's good. We've got three stories. I'm going to read you the story, then I'm going to play you the piece of music attached to it. So we'll get straight into it. The Wesley Methodist Church, now attached to Aratoi, began its life in 1878, replacing an early Wesleyan building, and was located on the corner of Chapel and Lincoln Road. Over the next 8 decades, the church's flock grew and included some of the district's well-known families, such as the Daish, Cody, Davies and Pryor families, to name just a few. The Methodists were proud of their church. Reverend Dawson described the church buildings in 1958 when the Methodists were celebrating 100 years in Masterton. I am glad that it has been possible to put our buildings into the best possible condition as we turn our century. Though the sound of the building and loving care over the years are for their age in excellent condition, and our modernized sanctuary is a joy in which to worship. In 1963, the Wesley and Knox churches combined efforts to run a Sunday school. This would echo what would happen 10 years later. After a long period of negotiations, the Wesley and Knox churches merged, and on 4th of March 1973, the St. Luke's Union Church opened for worship. This was in the former Knox Presbyterian Church, meaning that the Wesleyan Church was no longer in use for worship. At the same time as the two churches unified, there was a movement for a performing area in the Arts Centre, which had opened in 1969 and was on the corner of Bruce and Dixon Streets. The Masterton Trust Lands Trust set up a subcommittee to inquire about purchasing the church and incorporating it into the Arts Centre. Then followed years of talks until 1975, when the Masterton Methodist trustees decided to put the church up for sale. It was purchased by the Masterton Trust Lands Trust in April 1976. The old church was prepped for its move. On the 1st of May, large crowds lined the street in rainy, cold weather to see the shift. It was slow to begin. The initial backing out and moving the truck was a tricky manoeuvre and took quite some time. When travelling along Lincoln Road, a power pole had to be tilted by the Wairarapa Electric Power Board to allow the church past. From here it began its slow journey to the Arts Centre. When it arrived at the site, great care was needed to manoeuvre the 30-foot wide and 80-foot long building between the power and telegraph poles. The church had survived its journey, and at 1:15 p.m. it was lowered from the truck and onto its new home. An estimated 1,000 people had turned up to watch the event. It was reported that telephone services remain uninterrupted during the church's journey. The only shutdowns were the traffic lights at the intersection of Chapel Street and Lincoln Road, which were replaced by transport officers. Masterton Police happily reported there were no traffic problems, and the crowd was well behaved. The former church was formally handed over to the Art Foundation on the 12th of June 1977. It now had stage 1 end. It was used for performances, the first being a concert by the Wairarapa Choral Society. Harlequin Theatre would also perform shows within its walls. For 23 years, the Wesley Church, or the Wesley Wing, it is now known, played a new role as the host to the arts. But then progress required an expansion of the now too small Arts Centre, which means another shift for the old Wesley building. In September of 2000, the former church was raised onto chocks for a short move along Dixon Street. It remained a part of the Arts Centre, which later became Aratoi. Today, the 143-year-old Wesley Wing holds exhibitions, which include the Breadcraft School Arts Show, in which thousands of pieces by local young artists have been shown over the years. Now, there is an enormous amount of church, religion, spirituality-based music that I could possibly play. Not all of it complimentary, but this one is a very, very nice piece of music. This is You Raise Me Up by Josh Groban.
am down, and oh, my soul so weary. When troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
That was Josh Groban. Initially, I was going to play a different piece of music, and then I played that on the weekend and thought it was much more appropriate. Right, on to our next story. This is all about shopping. So with the recent demolitions of the Empire Hotel and the Saunders and Carter's Linen Building, we are reminded that buildings come and go in this town. Some were things of beauty and are sorely missed. Others were not so appreciated, and few lament their loss. One such building that was not always appreciated in its brief time in Masterton was Centrepoint Mall. It stood on the corner of Bannister and Queen Streets, approximately where the Masterton District Council and Kieran McAnulty's electorate offices are today. Centrepoint was meant to be a crowning feature at the centre of Masterton's business district, and its location was reflected in its name. It was commissioned in 1971 as a joint venture between Ron Brearley and Bob Jones. It was designed by New Zealand architect Roger Walker, who also designed the Whakatane Airport, Park Mews in Hataitai, Wellington, and the Solitaire Lodge in Tarawera. Walker made Walker was made an officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit in 1998 for his services to architecture, and in 2016 was awarded the highest honour by the New Zealand Institute of Architecture. Construction began in mid-1972 by local contractors Regshock Limited. The building included a typical Roger Walker characteristics such as round pipe windows, bright colours and steep roofs. The mall had its feature a 76-foot tower. After climbing 72 steps, visitors would find themselves in a glass-encased platform with a view of the surrounding district. At night, the tower was lit up and could be seen from far away. In December, with the opening date drawing near, attention began to focus on Masterton's newest attraction. A newspaper article a week before the official opening described the mall as being Masterton's biggest happening and having sharp change of lines from pyramid-shaped roofs to Moorish entranceways. All of these meld together into a flowing and changing pattern. There was a rush to complete the build in the last days leading up to the opening. Wet weather had delayed the completion of the build. On the morning of the 11th of December 1972, 13 shops in Centrepoint Mall opened to the public. The patrons were there to support the new complex, with most of the shops reporting to have had customers within the first 5 minutes. Centrepoint had its official opening on the night of the 11th of December. The new mall was designed to fit 21 shops, including businesses selling magazines, healthcare, clothing, music, toys, gifts, and a cafe. For the first 6 months, the mall was a success and a popular destination for Mastertonians. Then things began to change. While the initial design seemed special to tenants, the shops soon proved to be inadequate. They were too small, the rents were high, and after a while they began to leak. Worse, the numbers of customers coming to the mall started to dwindle, resulting in several tenants suffering financial losses. The tower, which was meant to be the highlight of the complex, was targeted by vandals and was eventually closed off to the public. Centrepoint persevered during the 1980s and into the 1990s, but with no major business operating out of the mall, the draw of the public to the area was small. In 1991, the complex was acquired by Masterton businessman Percy McFadzean at a mortgagee sale at half its government valuation. In February 1997, some of the doors leading to the mall were boarded up, leading to speculation as to the future of the site. It was announced in June of that year that Centrepoint was to be demolished. It just wasn't earning enough money to keep it going. It was a sad demise to a truly unique building, underappreciated by those living here. On the 25th of June 1997, the crews moved in, starting with the removal of the top of the Centrepoint Tower. Demolition then commenced on the rest of the mall to make way for the new ANZ Bank and later home for the Masterton District Council. Little exists today of the mall, although if you look very carefully at the roof line above Kieran McAnulty's electorate office, you might just notice some rather steep lines and circular windows. These are all that remain of one of the town's most recognisable landmarks. The iconic tower had a second life for many years as part of the office of Kia Motors in Dixon Street, until it was sold and renovated in 2016. Right, now I had to find you a piece of music about shopping. So this piece of music is called Shopping by the Pet Shop Boys.
Selling your history. city. We're all on the make. We're SHOPPING. We're shopping. We're SHOPPING. We're shopping. Our gain is your loss. That's the price you pay. I heard it in the House of Commons. Everything's for sale. We're shopping. 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 We're shopping.
I actually never heard that song before, but it seemed appropriate. All right, last story for today. When the Tumath building was demolished in November of 2018 to make way for the new Big Save building, an old metal sign was salvaged from the front of the veranda with the name Modern Furnishers painted across it. Modern Furnishers started on the 25th of May 1932 with a grand opening. Advertisements showed the quality of the products being offered, which included oak bedroom and dining suites and carpets and bedding. They also announced they were the agents for the Olympic radio sets and were selling 5-valve sets at the remarkably low figure of £17, which in today's money would be just over $2,000. The store was under the management of Albert Carstens and was originally located at 246 Queen Street, opposite Worksop Road, about where Hell's Pizza is today. In 1940, the business had moved to 223 Queen Street and was trading as Modern Furnitures, McFun and Beavis Limited, a Wellington-based furniture company. In 1919, Albert Carstens had married Emma Elsie McFun. Her cousin cabinet maker William George McFun was the partner in Modern Furnishers. By 1944, the business had moved for a third time to the building next to the Empire Hotel at 82 to 84 Queen Street, more commonly known as the Tumath Building. It was built in 1916 by the Public Trust on behalf of the estate of the late E.J. Tumath and replaced an earlier wooden structure. When it opened, it housed Horace Monk's pork butchery and John Morelli's fish shop. Over the next 30 years, the Masterton Fish Supply, William Headley's Bookshop, Servwell's Store Limited Grocers, Steel and Bull, music and radio dealers, and Nimmo and Sons, who were also music dealers, all had businesses in the building. By the time Carstens moved into the building, he was sharing it with Nimmo and Sons, a Wellington-based company which had a branch in Masterton. But Nimmo's soon moved out and Modern Furnitures took over their portion of the building. In 1949, Albert Carstens retired due to ill health and sold his interest of the company to George Swenson Leighton, and the name was later changed to Modern Furnitures, McFun and Leighton Limited. Carstens died 6 years later at the age of just 61. For the next 30 years, Modern Furnitures operated from their Queen Street premises, expanding their business to include selling linoleum and blinds. They also had a factory in Perry Street where they manufactured furniture. In 1979, George Leighton died. and Modern Furniture's continued to operate after his passing and acquired a curtain van which travelled around the district doing installations. By 1987 the name had changed to Expressions, and in 1991 they moved to 370 Queen Street, ending 45 years of furniture trade on the site. But the move was short-lived. By 1993 Expressions had closed, just over 6 decades since Modern Furniture's first set up in Masterton. When the Tumath building came down, the first stage of the removal was the front veranda. This exposed the edge of the southern side of the Tumath veranda, which could be an old wooden sign could be seen, and was painted Servewell Stores Limited, the grocers that operated there in the late 1930s. This was the first reminder of some of the buildings that had come and gone in the building. The next to be found was the old metal sign which was painted Modern Furniture's. Upon closer inspection, an older sign could be seen underneath it, Nimmo and Sons. When the Tumath veranda was pulled down, for a brief moment, an old rotted sign with the name Headley's could also be seen amongst the rubble. The recovered Modern Furniture sign is now on the back wall of Big Save Furniture for all to see, a reminder of the business that offered a similar service that operates now on the same site. A piece of Masterton history rescued from obscurity. Now, in all the furniture-related pieces of music, I had to settle on this one.
River broke, the bloodwood and the desert oak, holding wrecks and boiling diesels, steaming 45 degrees. The time has come to save fair's fare, to pay the rent, to pay our share. The time has come, a fact's a fact, it belongs to them, let's give it back. How can we dance when our earth is turning? How do we sleep while our beds are burning? How can we dance when our earth is turning? How do we sleep while our beds are burning? The time has come to save this fare, to pay the rent now, to pay our share. Before we'll scare the cockatoos from Kentar East to yonder Moo, the western desert lives and breathes in 45 degrees. The time has come to save fair's fare, to pay the rent, to pay our share. The time has come, a fact's a fact, it belongs to them, let's give it back. How can we dance when our earth is turning? How do we sleep while our beds are burning? How can we dance when our earth is turning?
right, that is it for me for today. We will catch up with you again on Monday, unless there's a holiday and I've forgotten completely about it. But yes, have a fantastic week. Try and stay dry, try and stay warm. But, of course, before I go, I had to go and dig up a joke. I'd completely forgotten. I checked my thing this morning and it wasn't there. So this morning I went and found a brilliant joke. I wasn't going to deprive you of this. It is a furniture-related joke. Why was the couch afraid of the chair? Because he was armed. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. Right, like I said, have a brilliant week, and we will catch up with you on Monday.